Share screen lang po ako, sir. Wait lang po. Okay. So, magandang hapon sa aking professor na si Sir Richard. So, ang next topic, based sa lesson 2, ay kailangan kong may paliwanag kung ano nga bang meron sa colonialism and elitism. So, first question is, ipaliwanag ang historical na naratibo ng sistema ng politika sa Pilipinas. Ang masasabi ko about yan is that napakaraming bansa ang sumakop sa Pilipinas. Isa dito ang Amerika, um, isa ditong sumakop ang mga Kastila, Espanyol, na kung saan nakapagbigay sila ng impluensya or cultural impact or factor sa ating bansa. Masasabi ko merong negative and positive. So, sa madaling salata, we have to focus first in the disadvantages. So the thing that is the disadvantages of the historical in terms of political in the Philippines is that when the Spanish or when the Spaniards colonized Philippines, they parang nanakawan tayo ninakawan tayo ng cultural factors. Ano nga ba yung mga ano ba ang masasabi natin sa ganon? So in terms of economical, so marami silang nakuha sa Pilipinas na yaman. So although the territorial boundaries of the Philippines archipelago is that defined treaty, that determination of civil political rights and status of the Filipinos and was left by U.S. Congress to decide. So in terms of foreign policy, there is a contributed policy that Americans had to the Philippines. So, ano nga bang mga role ng Filipino noong unang panahon? So, one of the roles of the Filipinos is that Filipino elite in the history of the Philippines politics is something to ponder on. It is just possessing of a dual character na kung saan right now, nagagamit pa rin natin siya sa politika. So, sa madaling salita, since ang Pilipinas ay may malawak na archipelago, so tayo yung pinaka-sentro or tayo yung pinaka-center na nakikita ng ibang bansa na ang Pilipinas ay madali lang siyang maimpluwensyahan in terms of foreign policy. So I know, I admitted that we have a foreign policy, but in terms of colonialism, nasakop kasi tayo eh. So there is a big impact that change in our cultural society as well. And sinasabi nga sa nabasa ko as well na the advent of Spanish colonialism aborted the quasi-indigenous development of the country and reversed its historic trend. Ang sinasabi nga dito is the costly wars stirred up by the Spaniards between the Christianized Filipino and Muslim. So kung mapapansin natin, hindi lang siya nagpo-focus sa politika eh. We also focus in Christianism. How we develop our cultural development and also the religious development. So yun nga, na-impluwensyahan tayo, more on yung mga pari yung namuno nung that time na sinakop tayo ng mga Espanyol, more on ang mga kababaihan ay tinuturing na mababa sa ating lipunan, at sobrang laki talaga ng naging impact sa Pilipinas. At maging sa ngayon, hawak-hawak pa rin natin ang kasaysayan na kung saan patuloy natin siya pinag-aaralan dahil hindi na tayo pumapayag na masakop pa tayo ng ibang bansa in terms of colonizing some other, economical development. Kasi as I discussed or as I mentioned, Philippines is the central of all the other countries. So they are pointing out that the Philippines having the great archipelago and having a rich culture or having a rich ano bang tawag dito is meron tayong likas na yaman na kahit anong bansa ay wala silang ganto. So kaya ko nasasabi yon sa colonialism and elitism is that because hindi lang naman direct Spaniards yung sumakop sa atin, especially the direct American colonial rule in the Philippines. So diyan na nag-uumpisa yung political parties na nakita natin or form in 1907 into 1946. And ang sinasabi nga dito in the 1946 na the party was the only significant political party in the country. So Philippines politics became one-party politics with two separate levels in struggle for power. So how we develop a power, and according to Manuel L. Quezon when he was the president at that time. So there will be a two-struggle assembly for interpress power via the Philippine Commission and Government General. Ang pangalawa naman dito ay ipapaliwanag natin ang palagay mong solusyon sa problema ng sistema ng politika sa Pilipinas. So, I think I have three solutions to that. So, first solution is that we have to make sure who to vote. We have to make sure the credentials of the person who is going to be selected or elected as one of the chairperson or one of the person who can handle the Philippines. Because in terms of the rights of Filipinos, we have the factors that we can say that it will be a solution that we can choose a right person to be elected. And according to that, during the Commonwealth period, they mentioned that Quezon's strong leadership fails also in transforming the agrarian economy into industrial economy. So, isa yan sa naging problema dahil sa dami-dami ng mga presidenteng humawak sa Pilipinas is that there is unfair in terms of politics. Still, sabihin natin hanggang sa ngayon, meron pa rin siyang discrimination or it's about ano siya parang unfair pa din eh. Kasi rich, middle class, mga may hirap is hindi pa rin sila nagkakapantay-pantay. So, sinabi din dito na yung Philippine e-bill service system is likewise creation by American regime. So, the American influence us how to develop our politics, but as of the moment, we are still having a difficulties in terms of handling the people of the Philippines, in terms of giving or providing a solution to that. So, sa palagay kong solusyon, we have to make sure who to vote. The second one, we have to make sure that we put the past into the present and to the future. Because how can we develop a solution if we didn't recognize or if we didn't acknowledge the things that we did into the past? And the third one that I think it's gonna be the solution in our politics is that the fairness and also the historical knowledge of us. So we can definitely base a person based on the knowledge and the contribution that he gives to our society and also the Philippines. So that's gonna be my explanation to that. So maraming salamat po sir sa pakikinig.